Hello and welcome to another Game Nexus gameplay video. Today we're taking yet another look at Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown. Of course, this game was released in 2021 for the Sega UL's UX arcade hardware as well as PlayStation 4 and, due to backwards compatibility, PlayStation 5. And unlike my previous two videos, now the game has randomly shifted back to the original characters.
Round one.
As I had made mention a few times, it doesn't seem like the game has any rhyme or reason as to why it actually changes who you're fighting against, but it seems like it has two distinct paths that I've seen so far. I don't know if like you play a bit more and more will come along, but as I've made mention in a few of these videos already, basically what you have here is an enhanced version of Virtua Fighter 5 Final Showdown where they've taken all the characters and assets and just enhanced everything greatly. So now you have a much better looking version of Virtua Fighter 5 that runs on more modern consoles and still has a decent online fan base. And of course, if you've not seen any of my Virtua Fighter videos before, or if your knowledge of Virtua Fighter is limited, Taka Arashi here was the character that was introduced in Virtua Fighter 3 along with Aoi, but he got left out of Virtua Fighter 4 due to the physics system not accommodating his larger size as a character. And I guess the makers of Virtua Fighter 4 never wanted to find a way to put him in there and not basically mess up how the game handles all the characters. So Taka Arashi here was not seen again in the series until Virtua Fighter 5R, which was the first revision of the arcade game, which I believe did remain Japanese exclusive. And of course then he was brought back in Final Showdown and Ultimate Showdown here, or as it was known in its Japanese arcade release, Esports.
Round one.
And I know I've made mention of it in my other video, but I thought it looked like that the bridge was kind of just drawn in there. But I think I know what I'm seeing when I saw that fly across the screen. Since the water is so reflective, it kind of makes the bridge look like it's more or less just like floating in midair. And it kind of looks a bit weird when that happens in the initial, when the stage just first shows up here. But it's one of those like graphical effects that they're trying to make it look so realistic, so it unfortunately ends up looking a little faker than it should. But yeah, as I made mention of in the other 5 videos that I made for this game, definitely an excellent looking game, there's no doubt about that. And when you have this game in even higher resolutions, it looks even better. We're only running it in these videos at 720p, but it still looks really decent, considering.
Round one.
The original game running on Lindbergh ran in like what was called XGA resolution, which is almost like 720p, but I think like there's some extra vertical lines or horizontal lines or something. And I believe the XGA resolution basically allowed Virtua Fighter to have some extra lines in the game and display some information at the top of the screen, as opposed to just having your normal 720p window. You would have if you've ever seen some of my videos, I think some of them I didn't crop it properly, and there would be this like line of text showing you on the top what was working, what was not. That extra line was supposed to be at the top of the screen, which would have been out of the view of a normal 720p window. if I recall correctly, it was like an extra 48 lines that were on the monitor for the Lindbergh. And I remember when I had first played Virtua Fighter 5 and I saw Lau looking so old, I was like, oh, now he's like old man Lau. They gave him like more gray hair than they had before, because even in Virtua Fighter 4 he looked a bit younger. But now he has that like old master type look now. And they really gave him a wrinkled look here. But it makes him look a bit more threatening if you've ever seen a lot of Hong Kong like kung fu movies. The old dude is always the one who can pull off all the crazy moves on you, and you always would underestimate him because you're like, oh well, he's so old, he probably moves slow, and then he just starts doing like crazy jump kicks and punching you way too fast. And just like with Aoi and Eileen, I chose the second outfit with Taka because I kind of wanted to see what they were doing with his like kimono outfit, if you will. I remember in Virtua Fighter 4, Virtua Fighter 3, the alternate outfit looked okay, but here they definitely have a lot of that like cloth dynamics going on, and it really does look graphically impressive. And when I think of like cloth dynamics and everything when it comes to a character's outfit, I always think of the original Dead or Alive on PlayStation. That was one of the original games I could remember seeing like free-flowing cloth moving when like a character jumps or a character kicks. And of course, to a better extent, more other fighting games have like adopted it to be their own and generally made it look a lot better than it did back in the original Dead or Alive. But you know, you always have to have a game that like really does that first. And I'm sure Dead or Alive wasn't the first game that did it, but it's the first game I personally remember seeing like a skirt or a sash moving up and down when a character moved. And now for some reason when I see Aoi here, I'm just thinking of Dead or Alive 4 where you had Kokoro, and she had her kimono only for the intro, but it was never a playable outfit. And I remember a lot of people were like, oh, well, she would never fight in that, but it's kind of one of those things if it's like her normal outfit, I guess she would have to wear that as her outfit, but I remember there actually being like some hacks that people did for Dead or Alive 4 that allowed you to play in that outfit, because it was a normal costume. It just was like the bikini outfit that Hitomi had in Dead or Alive 3. It was only used in a cutscene, and it wasn't accessible in the game. And of course, the funny part about that outfit for Hitomi was that since it was only made for her being underwater, if you somehow made the game use it as a playable costume, like by putting it in one of the playable costume slots, the hair still moved around like it was underwater because they never made that outfit playable on the ground, so it would just still float around like she was in the water. And this was another one, just like fighting Akira himself or fighting him as Eileen. I was thinking, yeah, I'm never gonna beat Akira as Taka here, but sure enough, I just kind of just poured it on, and he wasn't so bad. But if you haven't guessed it already, as this is the last of this series, this is actually the gameplay where I beat Durao, which I was surprised when this happened. It was one of those like, wow, really? Moments? Because, like, you know, you beat her once and you're like, oh, this is nice. Then you beat her again and you're like, of all characters, Taka Arashi is the one I would beat her as. Because, like, the characters I'm really, really good at, I didn't even have a chance. But this character I somehow do, and she does the jump off the thing one and land like Alpha 152.
Round one. Ready?
Although most likely Alpha 152 lands like Durao, but who knows? Because I can remember when I was playing this, I was like, yeah, there's no chance I'm gonna beat Durao in this game. But sure enough, yeah. It's kind of what happened here. Although the only thing I'm sad about this game, there's no high scores chart like you'd have in any of the arcade versions. So, I don't get to save all my fastest times and best playthroughs. But yeah, as I said in all the other videos, Virtua Fighter 5 Ultimate Showdown is definitely an excellent game, and I would highly recommend this. If you haven't played the game in a while, or if you haven't played a Virtua Fighter game at all, definitely give it a shot on your PlayStation 5 or PlayStation 4 console. Well, this has been another Game Nexus gameplay video, and I shall see you later. Bye.